What's going on, Jeromes? So, again, I need to reiterate, the Vikings are the kings of the late Friday afternoon or evening news break as Daddy was out enjoying himself, just winning the day, crack-a-lacking a little bit of dice, took a little bit of money from Wisconsin. That's what we do. That is how we do. But the trade of Za'Darius Smith went through, and going over the deets again, Tom Pelissero, go. Vikings are trading three-time Pro Bowl pass rusher Za'Darius Smith to the Browns. Sources tell me in Rap Sheet. His reworked contract guarantees him $11.75 million in 2023, and he'll be a free agent next March. And he did have a base salary of $9.45. Half of it was guaranteed, so he gets a little bit of a raise, as well as gets out of his contract next year, which is also very important. And yes, he had changed agents very recently, kicking his longtime agent to the curb, going with Eric Burkhart, and all of a sudden something gets done. Really magical how that happens. And the full trade compensation, the Vikings are sending a 2025, so not even next year, but 2025 6th and 7th round pick, and then get a upgraded 5th rounder in 2024 and a 5th rounder in 2025. So basically a late round draft pick swap. And Here's the thing. So if the Browns had taken on Za'Darius' full freight contract, it would have been one thing. But Gesslin pointed out, per Mary Kay Cabot, longtime fantastic Browns beat writer, the Vikings are picking up some of Za'Darius Smith's salary for the season. The Browns had around $7.5 million in cap space, blah, 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 blah. So TBD, what remains to be seen, because Pelissero did point out he's making 11.75, but how much, well, what percentage are the Vikings going to take on as dead weight and dead freight? So hopefully it's not a ton, because otherwise then this deal looks a little bit sketchy. But I'm not ready to just completely trash Kwesi for this deal. I think that given the options, it is very smart. And now people are saying, oh, well, Kwesi only did this sweetheart deal with the Browns because him and Andrew Berry go way back, blah, 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 all that stuff. But no, honestly, I think that Kwesi did the best with what he could at this stage, because it was clear that Za'Darius didn't want to be here. He is 31 in September. He is coming off of chronic injuries. He had that back that cost him most of the 2021 season. He had that knee injury that significantly hampered him in the second half of this year. Also, that knee injuries acted up over the last few years. So even though he's a supreme talent, he did not want to be here, and you don't want that infecting the locker room, especially from a supposed team leader. So yeah, just going through this offseason where Za'Darius put his house up for sale, and then he said that whole goodbye on social media, as well as Rap Sheet reported that he had requested a trade back in March, trade or release back in March. And Za'Darius, he came in fully gangbusters and was phenomenal the first 9 games, dinged up his knee against Buffalo. Second half of the year, maybe not so much. And yeah, he did come in, and he was great this last offseason, organizing the team. But we don't like being a news person, but we do have sources that say that Za'Darius was rather unhappy that he wasn't elected a team captain. Where yes, he was a new guy coming in, but you've seen Patrick Peterson coming in fresh and being named a team captain. But Za'Darius put in a lot of work in the off season, really tried to ingratiate himself with his new teammates, and didn't get that C on his chest. So maybe that sort of ran with it. Who knows? But either way, Za'Darius didn't want to be here. And I think Kwesi did a phenomenal job this offseason, bringing Marcus Davenport, making Andre Carter II a priority UDFA to make sure that you had enough depth to absorb the blow of potentially moving on from Za'Darius. Now, whatever cap relief that you do get from the Za'Darius trade, as well as whatever happens with Dalvin Cook, make Danielle Hunter a priority. Keep him in purple long term, and then just go from there. But the Vikings are going to be perfectly fine on the edge. And it just goes back to, what are Za'Darius' goals, right? Does he want to win a Super Bowl? Does he want to do this, that, or the other thing? Because he didn't get that much of a raise going to the Browns, but he does get a fresh start. He does get a year closer to free agency, so I guess that's a bonus. But, I mean, he would have been great in Brian Flores' scheme, and also a pass rush that has him, Danielle, Davenport, Patrick Jones II, Andre Carter II in there is going to be legit. And, the Vikings offense is going to be top 5, and it might not be 5. So the fact that he didn't want to be a part of this, where last year he supposedly was a team leader and all that stuff, I mean, okay, do what you got to do. Where, honestly, I do think that Kwesi did the best that he could here. Like, you weren't going to get a day 2 selection. You weren't going to get premium draft capital. You weren't going to get a team to take on his full salary in all likelihood. So, outside of just straight up releasing him, which would have been embarrassing since the Vikings, if ZaDarius didn't sign, well, he would have signed, but would have been offset. But over half of his base salary was fully guaranteed. Absent just cutting him, I mean, this is the best that they could do. Right, given the circumstances, given that the player didn't want to be there, given that the player was old and injury prone, and given his contract needed some freshening up. So, again, I understand why Vikings fans are upset. And there's like, oh, you have a premium pass rusher. How did you not get a first-round pick? They weren't going to get a first-round pick. They weren't going to get a second-round pick. They weren't going to get a third-round pick. They weren't going to get a fourth-round pick. So, I think that Kwesi did the best under the circumstances, and it's whatever. Hey, we're going to roll with the players that we got here, and it is what it is. So, again, put the money towards Daniil. Hopefully Davenport works out and stays healthy. I think Patrick Jones second has a chance to go. Boom. Luigi Villain in year 2. Andre Carr the second obviously is going to make the roster, as well as DJ want him in a contract year. Let's get this thing going. Like we after that ass. Let's go, man. But your thoughts are thoughts. Did Kwesi get fleeced in the ZaDarius trade? Spoiler, nah. But let us know your thoughts and our thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Once worth the work, put a little something in the Venmo. But till next time, Skull Production Value.